Hello, Trinity kids. It is Pastor Ty
and Pastor Matthew. Get your gospel story Bible ready. And if you don't have yours, you can email us, children@encountertrinity.com, to get your copy.
Yes, but first, do you know what time it is?
Question of the week, right?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. Would you rather have frogs all over your house or flies?
Okay. Wow. Define all over.
I mean all over.
Ugh.
Everywhere. In your bed.
What?
In your pillow when you go to sleep at night. Flying all around your face. Coming out of your soup when you're trying to eat it. When you're watching TV, they're flying in your face. They're coming out of the walls. They're coming out of the toilet. Everywhere.
No.
Or,
that's terrible.
If it's frogs, they're everywhere too. Jumping all over you. Jumping into your soup when you're trying to eat it. Jumping out of your toilet also. Frogs everywhere.
No. Okay.
In your bed.
Okay. Yeah. We got the picture. Wow. That sounds terrible and nasty. So good luck, Trinity kids, choosing the answer to that question. Would you prefer flies or frogs all over?
I choose fries. All right. Pause your video. Click play when you're done. All right, Pastor Matthew, what would you choose between frogs or flies?
I'm absolutely going frogs because I feel like they're big enough that you could like push them off of the table or the place where you're gonna. Flies just swarm everywhere. Like you would just be, I don't know. It feels more annoying.
Yeah,
buzzing everywhere.
But see, I feel like frogs are slimy and they're like big and they're gonna like get in your way. Whereas flies, you could just get fly swatters and like. Or have you ever seen those electric fly swatters?
Nope. If I had one of those, I would go flies.
I would tape one to every
that would
part
be
of my
amazing.
body. Yeah, I feel like you could manage flies better than frogs.
That's true.
Let's move on.
Yes.
But before we jump into today's story, let's first remember that the Bible tells one big story, and we're all a part of it. What we're going to read today is a part of that big story, and it fits in right here.
So here's what you guys need to watch for as you read God's word together. We have a picture of very red Kool-Aid. So listen for that. And lots of these little plastic jumping frogs. So, whoa, okay. Yeah. Also, as you read today, we want you to grab some Post-it notes, or if you have just pieces of paper will work fine. Put the numbers 1 through 10 on them, and everybody in your family grab a few.
I want to do it.
There you go. And then as you listen today to the plagues, there are 10 of them in the story, you're going to have to try to remember the number of the plague that you're holding. So I need to remember plague 2, 3, and 7.
I just have 8 and 4.
Got 8 and 4. You need one more. Here, do 6 and 4. All right. Got it?
And of course, you can always raise your hand if there's something you are wondering about. You should always share that with your family.
Sure.
Now it's time to choose a reader. And actually today you can choose 2 readers if you'd like, because we have 2 stories. You're going to read stories 30 and 31. They start on page 61. They're called God Sends Plagues Against Egypt and The Last Plague and the First Passover. So pause your video now, read these 2 stories, and click play when you are done. Well, Pastor Matthew, this has to be one of the wilder stories we've read in the Bible.
It's nuts. Yeah, I agree. But before we get into talking about all the stuff we're wondering about, Pastor Ty, choose one of your Post-its and see if you can tell us and remember what it was. See if our Trinity kids can remember.
I'm choosing number 6. So let's see. Trinity kids, who in your room had number 6? Say it with me. Boils.
Boils.
Ugh,
can you imagine sores all over? How about this one, Trinity kids? Who had number 7? Do you remember what it was? The hailstorm killed everything, crushed all the plants. Not good. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
I noticed a lot of these were bugs.
I guess, I don't know, that meant a lot or something. Anyway, well done. Good job, guys. The plagues are definitely the first thing that I'm wondering about when I read this story, because at first when I read it, I'm thinking, wow, God's being kind of mean, sending all these awful things. I mean, the flies and the gnats and the frogs and the boils and everything, but then I remember what I know is true, which is God could never be mean because God is love. What he does is always good, right?
Yeah, you're right. That's good thinking. But
so if God wasn't being mean by sending the plague, then why did he do it?
Pastor Matthew, that is a fantastic question. And I think a lot of people probably have the same question.
Yeah.
So I think what's happening is God was trying to show that he was greater than the fake gods the Egyptians worshipped.
Oh, wait, fake gods like idols?
Yes, exactly, like idols. So they had tons and tons of different gods.
Really?
They had a sun god and a moon god and a water god. They had a tree god.
Ooh, wait. They have like a snake god? Maybe like the giant cobra, king cobra?
Oh, I bet they did.
That would be
Ooh,
terrifying.
what about a dinosaur god? Did they have dinosaurs then?
That would be crazy. Is that a triceratops? A
I don't-
triceratops god?
I don't know what this is.
How would you even worship that? I don't know. That's nuts.
Or what about a dodgeball god, where if he's on your team, you never lose in dodgeball?
What? Oh yeah, Nerf gun god.
Ah!
How about a rock star god?
Well, a rock star is nothing without a rock band, so you'd have to have
So
a whole
true.
band of gods.
Yeah. I mean, what better god than a coffee god?
Ooh,
This is life.
that would be tempting.
For sure.
What about a glitter god?
Oh no.
Yeah, talk about omnipresent.
That's terrible.
If you know,
so
you
true.
know.
This is like the parents' worst nightmare god. What if they had a googly eye god? I feel like that would be.
That would be terrifying. This is already terrifying. What about a video game god?
X
Oh, yeah.
Games god. God would use a Golden State word for sure.
That's true. That's true. I don't know if they actually had gods for all of these things, but they did have a lot of gods, and one of them was truly a god of frogs.
Wait, what? A god of frogs?
Yeah, they really did have one.
What's that like? The world's biggest bullfrog? You guys know the big, huge frogs that are really deep. They should have brought in their giant frog god to clean up all the flies during the fourth plague. I mean,
No, that's smart.
if you're gonna worship a frog god, then it should at least have the power to get rid of flies, right? I mean, isn't that what frogs do? Eat bugs, right?
That's actually a really good point. It sounds like nonsense, but in the story, it's actually true. If the frog god can't take care of the flies, he's not much good, and he's not that much of a frog god anyway,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
I think I understand a little bit better now. God, the one true God, wanted the people to see his power and realize that their gods were fake, and he wanted them to trust in him.
Yes, that is exactly right. He wanted to prove that he's more powerful than any fake gods. And we can always be sure that God is always looking for ways to help his people trust him.
Very good point. So what part of the story did you like?
I think the first Passover, that part of the story, is actually really cool.
And why is that? Because it seems kind of gross thinking about smearing blood on your door and stuff.
Yeah, that is kind of weird and it is gross. But what I love is the way that this points us to Jesus.
Explain that to me.
Okay, so the way that the people were saved from the last plague, the
Mhm.
plague of death, right, was to sacrifice an animal and wipe that animal's blood on their doorframe, right?
Right, that was the
Yep,
gross
that's
part.
the gross part. Exactly. But now, how are you and I saved from death? Like, what proves that we have power over death?
Jesus, right?
Yep, exactly. And what did Jesus do to save us from death?
Okay. I think I get it. Jesus sacrificed himself on the cross and he bled.
Yes, that is exactly right. And that's why we say we're saved by his blood.
Got it.
So back then during the last plague and today for us, we are all saved by the blood of a sacrifice.
Makes sense.
Back then it was the animal over the
Mhm.
doorframe. For us, it's Jesus' blood.
Wow.
And you know when we take the Lord's Supper together at church, sometimes we call it communion?
Yeah.
We eat the piece of bread and we drink the juice.
Right.
Yes, the bread represents Jesus' body
Okay.
and the juice represents Jesus' blood. The one that saves us, the sacrifice. When we
Okay.
take the Lord's Supper together to remember his sacrifice for us that saves us, that is us remembering that he shed blood
Wow.
and he is the sacrifice that saves us from death.
That really is pretty incredible. Even a story about frogs and flies and boils and hail and all the other stuff,
Ugh.
even that can show us how Jesus saves us. So this story really has two great truths in it. First, God is greater than anything. And two, the Lord's Supper represents Christ's sacrifice.
That's exactly right. Great application from today's bizarre story. So there's a lot to process. I'm really excited for Family Talk Time today. So we're gonna pause our video, take a moment, and think about all this good stuff together during Family Talk Time.
let's get ready to pause again so we can pray together as a family. And when you do this, I want you to take time to thank God for his sacrifice on the cross that saves us. Hey, we have exciting news for you guys before we go today. We are super close to opening all of our Trinity Kids groups on Sunday morning, and we're so excited. We know it has been a long time. There is one thing we need that has been missing, and that is volunteers. So we need you guys. Parents, would you consider stepping up and volunteering, even in the short term, like for 4 to 6 months, to help us get Trinity Kids open for everybody to come back? We would love that, and we need you.
Yes, if you have any questions, if you're interested in serving, if you want to find out any information at all, please email us, children@encountertrinity.com. We will answer your questions. We will send you our volunteer application, whatever we need to do to get you lined up.
That's right.
All right, thanks for joining us this week. Matthew,
What?
first one to get a frog in the pitcher wins.
Yes.
Ready?
Go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Whoa.
Last place. Oh! Come on, little boy. Oh. Oh, it's so close! This is it, this is it. Ready?
All right, we'll see you next week.